Good morning, everyone. Hello out there. I am a little late because I was trying to work my way through this and I think I did something wrong. So technical difficulties, but I'm Kathleen. I'm available now for any questions you have about our balance class, and we are going to get it started. I'm coming to you from the Balance Center, the Maine Strong Balance Center out of Scarborough, Maine. And we are a pretty special place. I will tell you a little bit more about us in a few minutes once everybody gets up and active on here. I think we'll hang tight for maybe about 5 more minutes or so that people can join. And I'm available to answer any questions you have through comments, or if you want to chat into us, you can do that as well. So this is just a lull period before we get started. Get yourself some water, get your setup ready. So for me, I've got a chair. A chair would be a helpful thing to have for the majority of our exercises that we'll be doing today. Otherwise, maybe set up in the corner of a room if you've got one of those free and available, or nearby a countertop. So a couple different options. Get yourself ready and we will get active together. A couple minutes here. Thank you. Hello again. I'm dropping in to say hello to all of our newcomers. Oh, we've got the telephone ringing. So I'm Kathleen, and I'm here to share some balance exercises with you today, and we will get started in just a few minutes here, hanging out and waiting for everyone to join. As I got a little bit of a late start, I mentioned to anyone who was in here for the first 30 seconds of this that I was having some technical difficulties getting started with the live program. So here we are now. I'm gonna go grab some water and I'll be back, and I think we'll get started very soon. Hello. What time have we got? About 9:33. Hello, everyone out there. You can see we've got some people joining. That's great. It's good to see everyone. My name's Kathleen, if we haven't met before, and if we have met before, hello again. I am a balance class instructor from the Maine Strong Balance Center, and here to share today with you the community class that we typically run on a face-to-face basis. However, with everything that's going on, we've decided to transition that into a virtual class. So something that you can set up in your own home and work through these exercises together in a way. So it's still good to communicate like this and be able to ask questions and just go through the routine together. So the Balance Center itself, that's where I am currently, and that is where I work, and I do really enjoy working here. It is a physical therapy clinic out of Scarborough, Maine. So we have a number of therapists who work here and work one-on-one with clients for all sorts of things, so all sorts of diagnoses and conditions come through the door, all related to physical therapy, but with a particular focus on balance. So that's something that in each person's course of therapy is valued, and a lot of people come in just to work on their balance solely, whether it be just wanting to make improvements or for just any sort of reason. We are very active in that, and we like to share it with the community as well. So if you have any questions about that too, feel free to ask through the comments, through chat, on the page, on our Facebook page. We've got a website as well, mainstrongbalancecenter.com. I think introductions-wise, also myself, so like I said, my name's Kathleen, and I am not a physical therapist, but I would like to be someday. So my background is that I went to the University of Rhode Island and graduated with a bachelor's in exercise science. So this is all relative to what I'd like to do in the future and what I've been working on in the past. And next up, we'll talk about what we're going to do today. So today, we are setting up in a way that makes sense for the exercises that we're going to do. If you've been a part of the class, then you kind of know what this looks like. But if you've never attended one of our classes, it's kind of hard to paint a picture, but whatever you've got available to you in your home, you can make that into part of your equipment for today. Really, a chair, a stable chair, something sturdy, probably not one with wheels on the bottom or anything like that. So something that is a sturdy, stable surface. We will be using it both in our strengthening part of class. So we'll be doing some up and down movements, actually sitting in the chair, coming up into standing. And we'll also be set up behind the chair at some point. So using it not for seated activity, but more for a point of stabilization. So find yourself somewhere that makes sense, and then you don't need anything special to wear. You can be barefoot, you can be wearing sneakers or whatever footwear, something secure if you are wearing footwear, but however you want to go about this class, it's all up to you, whatever suits you best. And I think from there we will do our warm-up. So to get warm is very important. So when we do a warm-up, we're warming up our muscles and getting our joints a little bit more fluid. We're preparing for the activity that we're about to do. And when we orchestrate our warm-up, we make sure to pay attention to the muscle groups that we're going to use in the actual exercise portion of class. So we'll be going right from the head down. But before we do begin, we really should do some breathing, because breathing's important. So we'll be set up in our chair and thinking about good posture, And what that looks like is planting your feet firmly on the ground in front of you. There'll be a little bit of pressure going down into the floor. You can push with one foot and then the other. Just getting the feeling of activating your lower limb muscles. As you push down, your glutes will tighten a bit, your quads and hamstrings as well. So having some activity there sets you up for a better seated posture. All right, next, you're relaxing your shoulders at your sides. Your tailbone is tucked forward slightly, so that's aligning your torso and your spine. And lastly, your chin moves in a little bit. Not the most attractive of positions, but it's good for us to pay attention to where everything falls into place. Okay. Now, we will breathe. Inhaling, raising our arms up to the ceiling. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to our center. Okay, we'll go through this a couple times. Really filling your belly with air. And exhaling out the mouth. So inhale through your nose as your hands rise. Exhale out the mouth as they come down to your center. We'll do a few more because I think paying close attention to our breathing is both important as we're doing physical activity, but important for all of the other things that go on in our lives as well. It's important to take a moment to slow down and really feel the air going into our lungs. Okay. So from there, we will, like I said, go from the head down. Next, we'll do some neck rolls, bringing our head around in a circular motion. Okay, and as we do these, pay attention to how you're feeling. Very important for all the activities we're going to do. But for you specifically, if you feel like you need to make a smaller circle, if you have any sort of pain or anything going on with this, just make sure you're tailoring it to what feels best. And you can switch sides. So move in the opposite rotation. Right, bring your head back up to neutral in the center. And we'll do shoulder rolls after this. So bringing your shoulders up towards your ears and then back down along your spine. So you're pinching from behind. As you're doing this, you can relax your hands on your thighs and get this pinching motion. So these are the muscles that you want to be igniting back there, as if you could squeeze a grape between them. Think about relaxing your neck as you're doing this. So try to really isolate it to those shoulder blade muscles in the back. And you can switch, moving forwards. And as you move forwards, same idea, pinching from behind, really trying to relax the muscles in your neck so they're not doing all the work pulling upward. Okay, and next we'll go on to our hands and arms as well. As we're doing this one, you'll want to be crossing your arms, putting your hands into fists and squeezing a little bit so you can feel that pressure, and then bringing hands up. Can't really see in the video, but my palms are open at the top, and you're pinching again with those shoulder blades in the back. Coming back down, hands open at the top, closed at the bottom, open, closed with a little pinch. Couple more. next we'll start to get into our lower body, which is primarily what we'll be using for the majority of our exercises, especially the strengthening ones that we'll go over in a few minutes. And the first thing that we can do is our hip, opening up our hips a bit. And to do this, I'll back up a little so you can see my feet. Okay, so as you're doing this, feet are coming up off the ground and you're placing, well, we're doing 1 foot at a time, so foot is coming up off the ground and out to the side, and then you're stepping outward. So you're really just lifting, bringing it down, and then bringing it back in towards your center. And we'll switch sides. Opposite side. Here we go. Just trying to get some lift off of your foot off the ground, bring it out to the side, back in towards the middle. All right, and now we'll alternate. So do your right side and your left side. Meet both legs back in the middle. When you're ready, we'll go into a seated march. And as we march, you want to get your knees up, your feet lifted off the ground a bit. Your arms can be active, or they can be pushing into the chair beneath you. Whatever seems to work best for you. All right. If you are joining after my little introduction, I'll tell you now that my name's Kathleen, and we are here for balance class together. And be prepared for some activity, also learning a bit about what we do in terms of looking to improve balance. All right, last couple seconds here, and slow it down and bring it right to a stop. Okay. We're doing pretty good so far. Hopefully everyone's starting to feel warm. I always think that after the seated march part, everyone's breaking a sweat now. Okay. And last part of our warm-up is to get our ankles ready for activity. Very important. We'll use them a lot during the balance portion of class. So the exercises that we do in the latter half of the class, the targeted balance exercises, are really reliant on the use of our ankles, especially when we shift our body weight. So what we do to warm up the ankle, we think of our big toe as a pencil, and the floor is like a piece of paper. So we're imagining as if we're writing with our feet. And thankfully we're not actually writing with our feet, because it probably wouldn't look so good. At least mine wouldn't. Maybe my right would look better than my left. I don't know. But what should we write today? I don't know. Sometimes I ask for suggestions on days when I'm not sure. But with our right foot, I think we'll write something about the sun, because it is so beautiful out there. How about with our right foot we write sunshine day. All right, I was trying to think of something that wasn't too many letters, but wasn't too little letters. All right, so sunshine day. Okay, and with our left foot, let's write be well and be happy. Okay, we'll do that. Left foot says be well and be happy. That's a good mantra to live by, I think. Today maybe more than other days, but most every day we should probably say it to ourselves. So that is our warm-up. And we'll get right into some strengthening exercises from there. So the exercises that we'll be doing, the first one is a sit to stand. I'll just demo these for you, so you don't have to do them just yet. I'll show you exactly what we're going to be doing. The first one is a sit to stand. And like I said, having a chair, if you haven't gotten to one already, I'm sure you have because we're all doing this warm-up in a seated position. But having your chair, thinking about your posture again, so pressing your feet firmly into the ground, tucking your tailbone, just as shoulders are relaxed. And we're just coming from sitting up into standing. Okay, and we'll do that a repeated amount of times. The second exercise we'll do will be a side leg lift. So we're bringing our leg out to the side, and we'll do that a number of times. And the third exercise is for our front chin, and you're pulling your toes up towards the ceiling. Okay, so those are the three exercises that we do to strengthen our lower limb areas. We'll get started with our sit to stands. And I think really important thing to include here is that everyone works at their own pace, and that's a really important thing because we all are composed of, different things, and it's just working through this at whatever pace works for you is going to get you where you need to be. So if we're going to do 10 sets of 10 together, but if you need to do 6 and you're just starting out and you want to really work on your form and make sure you're doing this in a way that's healthy and successful, really pay attention to all the cues that I'm giving as we're doing this, but really work through this at your own pace. You can do, instead of 10, you can do every other, and rise for 5. So more importantly than anything else, listen to your body and what makes sense. And I will count to 10 just to keep count, but if you can get there, that's wonderful. And if another number works, then go with that. Okay. With all that being said, let's just do some. So everybody get yourself into a position that, you're thinking about those posture cues. Not using your arms if possible. If you do need to use them to stand, that's okay. Here we go. We'll do 10. Coming up for 1. Coming down. Okay. 2. 3. So as you can see, I'm trying to keep my speed on the way up. This is 4. Very consistent with my speed on the way down. Here's 5. So you want to, as best you can, really 6. Control that descent. 7. 8. 9, look at that, we've only got one left here. Good work, everyone. And 10. All right, that was set number 1. Should have mentioned earlier, as we're gonna do 2 more sets of that, but as we're doing it, make sure to keep knees pointed out straight in front of you. So sometimes knees will knock inward, or even kind of out to the side, or some sort of whatever, something funky might start happening there. So as you're doing it, just try to keep knees forward and pay attention to where they're pointing out. The next set that we do of these, we'll slide 1 foot forward a little bit here. So my feet on the ground, if you can see, before I even stand up, they're a little staggered. Just a couple inches, maybe 1 or 2. Doesn't have to be terribly far. And what this does is isolates the back leg a bit more. So your back leg will feel this more as you're doing it. from the muscles back there will be isolated. The front leg will still be doing some work. However, more weight will be on the back leg. Okay, we'll do 10 more in the same manner that we did the first 10. And if the staggered stance doesn't feel quite comfortable, you can do 10 more in the parallel feet just across from each other stance. Okay, here we go, second set. Just 1, 2, 3. So again, knees, you want to make sure they're pointing straight forward. There's 4, 5, halfway, make sure you're breathing and all those good things. 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. One more, hang in there. We've got 10. Woohoo. Bring it back down. You can shake your knees out a little bit if they need a bit of a rest. Some motion. And we'll switch over to the other side. When everyone's ready, here we go. So by switching to the other side, I mean the opposite foot will be forward. So maintaining that staggered stance. And if you'd like to do this set with feet parallel, keep it up. That's great work, still wonderful for strengthening all of your muscle groups here. We're working on quads, hamstrings, glutes are involved, and calves are involved a bit as well. So really everything in the lower limbs gets a bit of attention through these. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. If you're feeling an extra challenge, if you're feeling like it. 4, you can prop your front foot up on its heel, so that'll put even more weight into the back leg. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more in this set, one more of these at all, actually, one more, let's do it. 10, whew. All right, great work on those. They're really valuable, so like I said, all of those muscle groups are getting attention, and especially related to balance. Focusing on the lower limbs gives us, well, actually, really everything involved in that exercise is a better way to say it. I think I don't know, I think I lost it for a minute there. Everything coming from what you're working on in that exercise is really critical to balance. The different muscles involved for endurance, for standing and making corrections as we're walking, all those sorts of things. Okay, so next we're going to do our side leg lifts. Going to come around to the backs of our chairs for this one. So if everybody gets up and gets comfortable either behind your chair, if you have a surface around that is more easily accessible, like a countertop, or anything that's about like hip level, waist level for you to keep your hands on to stabilize, I think that is where you want to be. So we'll give everyone a moment to get there. But as we're doing this, you are using whatever's in front of you for stabilization and bringing one leg out to the side. Okay, so there's your standing leg, which all of your weight is being put into, but You're going to try to avoid kind of sinking into that and dumping all of the weight in. Try to keep yourself tall, planting down into that standing foot, and softening your knee to protect the ligaments in your joint, so your muscles will activate if your knee is just a little bit soft. And then your working leg is here and moving out to the side. So we'll do a set of 10 on each side to start. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These ones we like to keep really slow. 7, 8. So in the same way that we're 9, rising from the chair and coming back down, there's 10. You want to keep that consistency when you're moving out and when you're coming back in. So really slow things down in both directions, and that gives your muscle more time under tension, as a PT would say. And basically that means, if you did 10 reps at 1 second each, you might be getting 10 reps, but the actual time that your muscle's spending working is less. So by slowing it down, you literally will get more time under tension, so the muscle has more work to do against gravity. Okay, opposite side. Standing leg is planted, knee is slightly soft, and our working leg is coming out to the side for 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So here you're trying to keep your torso as still as possible. There's 5. Your toes are pointed straight in front of you. There's 6, 7, 8, 9. One more on this side. 10. Okay. So you can feel that slowness too, the build. The slower we do it, the more we can feel, the more our muscles gain from the action. And as you're doing it, you should be feeling it in both sides. So although the working leg is doing the work, your standing leg is really putting in some work as well. This muscle that we're paying attention to is in the side glute area. It's called the gluteus medius, and it helps us with any one-legged activity. So while our standing leg is working, while our working leg is working, we can feel that really directly, because we know that, we're making that motion, we're amplifying that feeling in our side hip area. But the working leg is doing a lot of background action as well, because it's keeping our hips level, it's trying to keep our hips level, and then also maintaining that stance throughout. So it's really a one-legged activity, as is walking, as is using the stairs. So anything where we're working on one leg, even if it's just in a glimpse, like a step, those muscles are really keeping our hips level and putting our trajectory in the right direction. So that's what we're paying attention to, because in balance, if we can't keep that levelness in our hips, then we kind of lose it here as we're walking, and it can make for challenges with balance. Okay, so we'll do 2 more sets of each. Back to it, everyone. And we'll add in something a little different on number 10. So as we're counting, when we get to number 10, here I'm going to switch sides so that I don't forget. When we get to number 10, we're going to hold our leg out there. I'm going to count to 10, and we'll do little pumps before bringing them back in. Okay? Let's do it. All right. So holding onto your chair to stabilize here, starting with 1, 2, 3. I was speeding it up there a little bit, I think. 4. Remember to keep them slow and controlled. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the next one is where we hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring it back into the middle. You can shake your legs out a little bit here. And we'll switch over onto the other side. All right. And when we are ready, I'll give it another couple seconds here. We got started on the opposite side. Again, rooting through your standing leg, trying to keep tall throughout, keeping your torso as still as it can be, avoiding any kind of pendulum type activity here, so that helps the muscle by dispersing our weight that way. Okay, 10 more with the hold at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the last one. We'll hold for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back into the middle. Shake things out. I said this is the last one, but I meant for that set. So if I fooled anyone, we've got 2 more sets, 1 on each side. And we'll get going and do the same holds at the end. So on number 10, we'll do the same 10-second holds out to the side and then bring things back into the middle. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on this last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in. Give yourself a little shake, a wiggle, whatever needs to happen, and we'll switch sides for our last set. This is our last set of these. 10 together. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. All right, we'll go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in to the middle. Shake things out. And I'm going to take a sip of water and then we'll do one more strengthening exercise. All right, so this last one that we're going to work on before getting into the targeted balance portion of class you're going to be feeling this in the front of your shin area, working on a muscle called the anterior tibialis. So in the front area of your shin, again, kind of pointing to it here, but just to make sure everyone knows what we're working on. We're doing this, if you'd like to, you can do this from standing just as you were behind your chair. And you are raising toes up towards the ceiling. You can see my feet. As you're doing this, all of the weight is coming back into your heels. And you can keep that soft knee again. And you're just raising your toes upward, like as if you had a string attached to them and you're pulling it up with your hand. You can do it seated as well, if that is what makes more sense for you. Same idea, sitting with all those good posture cues, and then raising toes up towards the ceiling. From either position, you can do one at a time, so left and then right. And if you'd like to, you can even put all of the weight into your heels and walk like a penguin around your chair. So your toes are pulled up towards the ceiling, and for each step, you're really stepping into your heel with toes pulled up. But whichever way works best for you, you can do, and work on that for another maybe 10-15 seconds, and have a seated break. Okay. So whenever you're done with that, you can come to your chair, take a rest, and I will tell you a little bit about the balance positions. I'm going to grab another sip of water before I do that, but we're switching gears here. So the strengthening that we just did, huge part of balance, but another part is working on enhancing the connection between your brain and your body. So there are many systems in the body that contribute to balance and successful balance. So if we focus on working those systems, then we can improve balance. And so a lot of what we're doing, we're standing in funny positions, and as we do so, our brain learns a little bit more about how to send signals out, and our body receives information and sends it back to our brain. So doing this through time really can enhance that connection and help with our overall balance in general. So the positions that we do use are, hello Maddie Lou, hi, I'm so glad. Yeah, anyone feel free to leave comments too. It's nice to see and well, not hear necessarily, but see everyone pop in or chime in. So I'll get back to what I was saying. The positions that we use for these balance exercises, the first one is feet together, which is a little bit, you'll notice if you do so, it's a bit more challenging than standing in a normal stance. When we're in a normal position with our feet about hip width apart, we have more stability because our center of gravity is spread out, similar to when people are walking a balance beam or something like that and they put their arms out. It gives you more dispersion of your weight. So when we tuck things in, it makes it trickier because that center of balance is limited. So through this, our body can learn. This is position number 1. If you're just getting started, I recommend trying this one first, as it's a challenge. But then if you'd like to move forward to the second position, one foot slides in front of the other, and this is semi-tandem. So if you can see my feet, one foot is, the heel is kind of touching the instep of the back foot. And if you were looking at the soles of the feet on the ground, they look like this. So position number 1 is here. Position number 2 is here. Okay? And then number 3, a full tandem. So that second position was semi-tandem. Don't know if I mentioned it, but I did now. The third position is a full tandem. So one foot, the front foot heel is touching the back foot toes. So it looks like this on the ground. Okay, like as if my fingers are toes and the foot of my palm is the heel. So these work in a progression, which means that once you've mastered the first one, move on to the second. And then from there, the third, if and when you're feeling comfortable. A good indication of this, if you can hold the first position for 30 seconds without restabilizing yourself on a chair or stepping outward to stabilize yourself, that's a good sign that you can move forward to position number 2. And the same idea once you get there, if you can hold that for 30 seconds, on to position number 3. Okay, so now I'll bring the chair back into the frame and we can test these all together. So if everyone comes up to their surface, whatever it is that they're hanging out on. Hi, Andrew. Hello. Nice to hear from you. I love it. Good to have everyone still on their balance schedule. Okay. So whatever surface you're using, you want it to be nearby and accessible for times of need. But you really want to set yourself up in a position that allows you to stand freely and make those changes on your own. So your body, you want your body to be doing that work, and as you stand freely of the use of anything else to stabilize yourself, your muscles, your joints, everything is going to make those corrections. So I think that, yeah, if everybody is in a good spot and wants to spend about a minute here working through this first position, a bit of a warm-up, please do so. You can begin now. If you're familiar with a position that you've already used and you like to use that, you can hop right into it. If you're just starting, again, I would recommend feet together in the first position. And we stand for a minute. Got a clock over here. Try to keep a good eye on it. So as you can see, I'm hovering my hands over the surface, over the chair, so they're there as needed to reset myself. But again, I'm really giving myself the opportunity to correct independently. Get about 15 more seconds. These always feel like the longest minutes ever. Okay, there we are. All right, if you are in a spot or using a position where you can switch sides, go ahead and do so. If you are feet together and that's where you're working and you're feeling good there, keep feet together. We'll do another minute here. Starting now. If you already started, you get some extra practice in. And I said these minutes always feel like the longest minutes ever. I'm joking, but it's true. It's good to put the time in. I think a lot of earning balance or improving your balance is time commitment, just working through this. The more time you spend or the more time you put in, the more change that you'd likely see to your balance overall, confidence and function. So got about 20 more seconds on the clock. So as you're doing this, a goal that people often think of to really seeing a 20 to 40% change in their balance overall is about 50 hours of input. Okay, there we are. We just finished our minute on that side. Okay, so 50 hours of input in a challenging level of balance is where you might be getting the most from this over a time span. So I think we've got a question. I'm just reading it. Would it be okay to add arms overhead? So arms overhead. I think that more than anything, your arm position is going to challenge you or help you. So the closer your arms are to your midline, the more challenged you'll be. As I was saying earlier about like a tightrope walker who has arms out to the side, that kind of helps disperse your weight a bit more. I don't necessarily think that arms overhead, I don't quite know how it would impact your overall like balance, like the training part of it, like working towards improving your balance. So I guess that's a question maybe I could look into. But in thoughts of, I think it would make it a little bit more difficult to have them both closer to your midline and up overhead. So it would just add in a different factor. It would be something else to be focusing on as you're doing your balance exercise, which is pretty tough to begin with. So I think the most valuable thing is working first on getting down the position without anything else added in. But we're going to add some more things in that really help to create that challenge. So like the next thing we'll be doing will be closing our eyes. So this is what we know. These types of added factors are really what can transition to help us change our balance and improve it over time. So if we bring feet back into our balance positions, we're going to do, like I said, some of this eyes closed activity. So with whatever position you're working in, if you feel like with eyes closed you might want to take a step backward, like in terms of if you're working in the full tandem position number 3, and you want to come down to position number 2, it might be a good idea if you're just getting started. Even just standing in a normal stance with eyes closed will help you get your bearings a little bit better before coming into your balance position. So here, we're going to spend about a minute, maybe a little bit longer, with eyes closed. So come into your balance position. Eyes are closed. Okay. And the very beginning, it's tough to get to a point. So maybe whatever way feels best for you to start. You might want to start by having your hands on the chair and closing your eyes, and then slowly lifting hands up, hovering. Okay. And what we're doing as we close our eyes, this is one of the systems that really contributes to balance a lot is our vision. So as we take our vision out of the equation, the other systems in our body have to work harder to adapt for that lack of incoming information. We are, eyes are open, and you can recenter yourself, switch sides here. If you've got feet together, stick with that, keep moving through that phase of the exercises. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, so eyes are closed, getting yourself into that groove. Again, keep your eyes closed. I might have spooked you. If you at any moment need to stabilize yourself, use what's in front of you. Take a small step out to the side. open your eyes, whatever needs to be done to restabilize yourself. Take those measures. All right, and there we are. You can open your eyes, shake the knees out a little bit. And the next thing that we'll do, we'll add in a distraction, basically. And we can make distractions in a variety of ways. And the ultimate goal of incorporating distractions into the balance exercise is that it takes you out of consciously thinking about, okay, I have to sway my hip in this direction right now, and I have to tighten up in my core to keep myself upright. So as we're not distracted and doing the balance exercises, we really are given the opportunity to think about what we're doing, which so often in daily life we're not able, because we're doing grocery shopping, or we're actively moving as someone's talking to us, or turning to look at something. So typically, when we're balancing in a daily setting, we're distracted. So when I said we can do this in multiple ways, we can do it mentally, so we can come up with a mental task. We can also do it physically. So physically, we call it perturbation, and that's like if you've got someone walking by in front of you and you're having to turn to keep up with them, or we do ball toss a lot actually at the clinic when you're working one-on-one. So these are different ways that we can form these distractions. So what we'll do a mental task. Monday morning, mental task. This is a whole lot. This is more than I signed up for, right? Okay, so to accomplish this, we stand in our balanced position. Okay? And we're going to be multitasking, really. So we'll be doing 2 mental tasks at the same time. Bear with me. You're in your balanced position, and we're going to be spelling balance class. Okay? And we'll also be counting up from 1 to whatever number we make it to. And what this looks like, or what this should sound like in your head, is B, the first letter of balance class. 1, A, 2, L, 3, okay? So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to do this with eyes closed. If I couldn't add in anything more to make it more challenging, right? Okay, so eyes closed, you are spelling balance class, and you are also counting up from 1. All right? And this is good. This is a good way to be working on your balance. Sorry to interrupt. Eyes are open. We'll switch sides. It's just about 10:30, so I think we'll do a couple more exercises. I know I started a little late, so still getting used to this whole Facebook Live thing, but I just want to make sure everyone knows what time frame we're working with, so I'll probably go for about 10 more minutes. Okay? So when you're ready, you can switch sides. And in this position with eyes closed, we'll be doing another mental task, and it will be listing off states in the United States, okay? And then also animals that live in the ocean. So you're alternating between the 2 categories. So it'd be like Arkansas, and then dolphin, and Alaska. seahorse, okay? So see what you can come up with. Close your eyes, start that pattern. Remember to breathe and to give yourself, choose a position that is suiting you best. All right, open your eyes up, get reacquainted with your surroundings, and we'll move on to some head turning exercises. Those will also be using some eyes closed activity and a couple stretches before taking off. Okay, so as we do head turning, we are again standing in our balanced position. So if you're tuning in now, or if you missed those for any reason, position number 1 is feet together like this. So if the palms of my hands were the soles of my feet on the ground, position number 1 is feet together. Position number 2 is a semi-tandem, one foot in front of the other slightly. Position number 3 is a full tandem, totally in front of the other foot. Choose the one that suits you best. You want to be feeling a little bit, the challenge. Slight wobbliness is a good thing. That's where your body is really making those adjustments. But you want to also be comfortable enough that you can stand without the use of your chair or by hovering. So that independence. Okay. So we'll do head turning. In your balanced position, we will be looking to the left and right. You are turning your neck here, only going as far as feels doable, so you don't have to be an owl and moving all the way around, but really just picking a focal point on either side of you and looking from one side to the next. And while you're doing this, I'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing, because it seems unusual, right? We're standing in this strange position, and we are turning our head to the left and the right, and we're feeling a bit of difficulty. Actually, I'll have us switch sides and go to up and down next before I tell you more, so that I don't get too carried away and you're turning your head for 5 full minutes of me talking about this. All right, switch sides, up and down this time instead. So same idea, you're looking up to the ceiling and down to your toes. Okay, and as we do this, we're working on strengthening our vestibular system. So that is a system that is one of the primary systems related to balance, and it's located in our inner ear, so it's a part of our inner ear. You may have heard it referenced as such before, and it helps us make judgments about our surroundings. It helps us when we're moving from in a horizontal way, so as we're walking, or as we're rising and falling, so in up and down motion as well, and really any movement where our head is turning relative to our body, our vestibular system is active. All right, you can come back to the middle, neutral position here, and we'll do each of those with eyes closed next instead. So coming into whatever position you're working through here, making adjustments for this exercise. The eyes closed head turning is a bit more tricky than the eyes open. So if you need to adjust your balance position accordingly, please do so. It will help you get the most out of this exercise if you're working in a place where you're getting that challenge level, but not so much so that you're needing the chair every 5 seconds. So it's a delicate balance, it really is. Okay, so here we are, balance position, left and right with eyes closed. And the system is one that interprets information and sends signals to our eyes. So our eyes and the system are directly connected and they work together. So when we take the vision out yet again of the equation, it makes that system work even harder and learn even better how to keep us balanced. Right, you can come out of that, open your eyes, and we will do the opposite side. Switch your feet, your footing position, keep them together, again, if that's where you've been working. And we'll do eyes closed up and down. Okay, keep doing that while I chat. So as we're doing these left and right and up and down, the system itself in our inner ear has different canals that receive information about the movements that we make with our head as we turn. One of those canals works in a vertical direction, up and down. And one of those canals works in a horizontal direction, left and right. So we're working each one of those canals as we turn up and down. The vertical canal is active. As we turn left and right, the horizontal canal is active. There's a third canal that works in kind of a combination of the two, like a diagonal. So there's certain exercises that we'll probably do in coming weeks to work on that one as well. And there's a variety of different things that we can do to tune up this system. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, if you haven't already. It's good. The more time we put in, the more our bodies can learn from this, actually. So I think that's all for balance exercises today. I am so glad. We'll do a couple stretches. So before I lose you, don't sign off too soon. I just want to thank everyone for joining before we do split paths for the rest of the week till next time, and hope everyone's doing well and holding up through this. We're all in it together, and I think that we'll get through it together, and we just have to look out for one another. So I'm confident that we will be main strong, just like the Balance Center. Okay, we'll do our stretches to wrap up. Thank you again for joining. The first stretch we'll do is our calf stretch. It's very important in terms of getting some mobility through our ankle joint. The looser our calf is, the more able we'll be to pull our toe up as we're walking. So working on that toe clearance is really important because if we ever catch a toe, it might make for some balance difficulties. I've experienced that before, so that feeling of the toe catching, if we can work to avoid that, both through the strengthening in the front and the loosening in the back. Okay. To do this together, use your surface, push into it, so really stabilizing yourself with it, holding on. Take a step backward. Here, I will move. Take a step backward with one foot, and you're coming into a bit of a lunge here. And then you're leaning forward, pressing your back heel into the ground, coming to whatever angle is comfortable for you, feeling this in your back leg calf. Your front knee should be bent. Your back leg should be straight. There can be a little bit of softness to it. the distance between varies for everyone. So the distance between legs, between feet is what I'm talking about. And if you're having trouble feeling it, you might want to go back a little further. You might want to lean forward a little bit more. And we'll come out of that, switch to the opposite side. Step backwards with the other leg. Lean forwards until you feel this in your back leg calf. Heel is planted. Both heels are planted, but it's very important to try to keep the back heel on the ground. Up. Do a hamstring stretch as well. This one you can do standing or seated. Using your chair for balance, I come over to the side a little bit, but you can kind of stand here like this with one hand on. I'll show you from a seated position as well. But you're putting all of your weight into one leg with a little bit of a soft knee, propping the front leg up on its heel, but relaxing your toes. You can give them a little wiggle so they don't have to be pulled straight back up towards you, but just let them hang loosely towards the floor. And then you are hinging forward at your hips, protecting your back as you do this until you feel in your hamstring here, so behind your thigh, that stretch. And I'll show you from the side just to make sure you know what hinging forward at your hips looks like. So you're really trying to keep a flat back, only going as far as you can feel that moderate stretch. And breathing into it, so just make sure to take deep breaths here. Stretching it's a tough thing to hold for a long time period, but it's really valuable. You can switch sides for keeping our joints fluid. Our body's happy. Okay, opposite side. You prop one foot up in the front on its heel. Back leg is bent just a little bit. And relaxing your toes on the front leg, so kind of letting them hang loosely towards the floor. You can wiggle them a little bit to give them that sensation. And hinging forward at the hips until you feel the pull back here. All right, up and at 'em. I am so glad to hear from you all today, and thankful for everyone who's joined. It's really exciting to be able to share this with everyone at home, and I hope you are learning a bit and that your body is feeling good, and that if you want to track your progress, let us know how you're doing and how you're feeling. We can give you different tools to do that too. We have different like questionnaires that you can fill out from point A to point B in a couple weeks from now. So let us know about all those things. We love feedback. And again, I am Kathleen, and I am from the Main Strong Balance Center. That's us, and we do all sorts of wonderful things. So just contact us if you have any questions. Be well, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.